let's talk about authenticity a little bit. What do people need to know to access that authenticity? Like, how do they even start bringing that authenticity forward?
Here, I'm going to have a very black and white approach with like no gray, although I'm the most inclusive and flexible and positive person I can be. When it comes to authenticity, it's very black and white.
Okay.
You are or you are not. And if you are not able to be authentic, if you're not able to be yourself, I also understand it. However, if I come here trying to pretend to be someone I'm not, what a waste of my life.
Yeah.
Who can be a better me than me? Who can be a better Yasmine than Yasmine? So we need to practice every day to be more opinionated, to stand in our beliefs, to be more of ourselves, and to be okay not to be liked, to be okay not to fit in, to be okay not to be loved and liked and press follow by everyone. It's also a cope mechanism. And so it's also a coping mechanism to want to blend in because we need to belong, fair. But when you do it repeatedly, chronically, at the expense of the most precious person in your life, now that's when you are eroding your confidence. And you will not be able to be authentic, to be genuine. So, and if you are there, if you are listening, and if you feel that this might be your case, make a U-turn. Go on a retreat, read more books, journal, and come back to, because we all do these divergent roads. We all go a little bit away from ourselves and then we come back. It's part of life.
100%. The thing is also with authenticity, maybe these days it's a little bit of a buzzword because I feel like people are using it to, look, there's a certain...
You know who is authentic, Yasmine? The person who had the courage to look in the mirror and say, I've been fake. I had to fake it. I had to have some defense mechanisms to be strong. And now I'm going to go to therapy. Now I'm going to go to the retreats. I'm going to put this unnecessary shield down.
Right.
And I'm going to free myself and be myself and say, I don't know.
And I like that you gave the tips on how to cultivate the authenticity, which is, cultivate your own opinions, read more books, go and find yourself in the forest somewhere.
You don't know what you don't know what you like because you are the culture you are coming from. You are the religion you've been baptized under. You are the city, the country you've been living in. But then the more you travel, the more you are attracted by genuine people. They will spark and activate something in you and they will make you start to be a seeker of who you are.
Yeah.
Because you are authentic and genuine when you look in the mirror. And at any age, as many wrinkles or no wrinkles you see in that mirror, you really respect the person that you see in the mirror.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Very important in today's age where there's a lot of comparison online.
We have been born in comparison. Our society exposed us to comparison. And then if it happens on daily basis or whenever to compare, I'm able to observe that thought and say, no. So you can come out of comparison by being mindful.
Yeah.
But you will have it. You will do it.
Yeah.
You just have to quickly come back to, let me do me. Let me be me. Let me explore being Yasmine. Let me explore being whoever you are.
Exactly. I like that. You know what's funny is that when we're in high school or when we're in school, we are taught that being outside of the group or being different is uncool.
The black sheep.
And then how funny is it that in adulthood, we're just like, nope, let's switch that back. Now we need to be outside of that. Like,
I need to build my personal brand. I need to stand out.
I need to stand out. Yeah,
wear bold colors, have something weird, have something unique.
I feel like this is something that should be taught in curriculums around school, like building your personal brand from a young age.
Yeah.
Stand out. Who cares if you're like, board, what are they called? You do the vision boards and stuff like that, the posters in high school and primary school. Who cares if they're ugly? Who cares if they're weird? Like, this is something we should be teaching.
Well, there is anyways a very big revolution in the educational system with personal development and coaching on the rise, and with a lot of parents and students not being able to pay those loans from the renowned universities, and then children finding themselves not equipped for the jobs of the future, and finding a big gap. I think the educational system slowly is going to catch up and is going to introduce more elements to cultivate uniqueness, diversity, and to help an individual really stand tall in like you.
Yeah.
Right. You're Palestinian. You studied in Australia. You worked in Saudi. Now you're building your career here in the Emirates. You're a journalist. You're a podcaster. You're an MC. There is no one like you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
but yes, I know you're the.
But when you translate that,
yes,
in every step, in every way you step, in every way you gaze and look, and you embody it, it's felt, and that's how you build your personal brand.
There we go. Let's get into. I'm going to give you an example of a person who wants to get into public speaking, but they are busy, and they have so much on their mind that they are just unable to sit down and look at their script, and they're unable to sit and actually digest what is going on paper for them to translate it because they're a CEO. How would you tell them to look at their script and break it down so that they can actually memorize it for their audience?
So first things first, we want to take a deep breath. If you are serious about memorizing that 1 pager or 2 pages, you want to first realize that if you care about your audience, the same way you are putting the best jacket, the best suit, and you're groomed and you're perfumed and you go to the gym and your body is fit, the same way your mind has to be fit and your message has to be well structured. So if you want to go into memorization, that's something that you do because you love and you respect your audience.
Right.
So there is no excuse around it. Secondly, because of my past, because of my selective mutism, because I had to work really hard to be a presenter and a public speaker, I developed a technique to memorize everything in like 5 minutes. And it's something I had to do again as a medicine for myself, because if I had 3 paragraphs, it would take me a day or 2 to memorize it. I just couldn't focus. And that's because, but then after all the healing and all the practice, I was able to neutralize it.
Okay.
But in the days when I couldn't memorize all those words and it felt like I had dyslexia, but I don't have dyslexia, but the day I just like couldn't, I started to take small post notes and write one word and put like blocks. And then I put them in front of me, and all of a sudden I found myself physically moving in front of the first part of the message, the second part. So for example, I would say forest, 2 people, a fox comes, a plane collapses, God forbid, and the end. So I will put these parts, I will break out the speech into words, and I will physically go in front of the first block, then go in front of the second block. And now I will develop a kinesthetic relation between me and my message.
And are you doing this on stage? So when you okay.
No. However, your body, because you went in the first block, in the second block, in the third block, your body knows.
Your body
knows that it has the trajectory here in front.
Yeah.
And your body knows how to move. It's like.
So do you think subconsciously you will move on stage how you have stood?
No. No, but it will help your brain visualize.
Okay. Yes.
The message.
You visualize it. Okay.
So this is one of the pro tips that I don't usually share, but like, here we go.
Guys, we got an exclusive today.
Make the most of it because it's going to save you time. And when you're memorized and you have a flow and you know the trajectory of your message, you know your beginning, you know your first story, you know your example, you know your metaphor, and then you know a quote and you know your landing, you are now having the confidence of a pilot who takes you from Dubai, Terminal 3, all the way to Jakarta, all the way to Berlin, safely.
So you have basically kind of, not to reduce it, but I'm just going to summarize it for everyone. You have basically divided it into a narrative, the way you want to take people on the journey of the story.
Yes.
Using those building blocks, you would call them.
Yes.
How did you learn that? Did you teach yourself this, or how did you?
I had to invent it for myself because I had to learn scripts as a presenter, but I couldn't. So then I would extract so it was the need that taught me.
That is fascinating.
So everything I teach from experience. Yes, I have the certifications, an NLP practitioner. Yes, I've been coaching for the last 7 years. Yes, I had very difficult, cases and problems to solve with clients. but it's the experience with the clients, it's the experience hands down with the actual person that, first with myself and then with the clients that allows me to help anyone today.
Yeah.
There is no problem in the area of communication or public speaking that I can't solve. And if I don't solve it, I have a network of speech pathologists, professionals, healers, therapists that I can, vocal therapists, also singers, who can help me bridge whatever it is that I don't have as a competence.
What you're saying is so important because that really shows people that nobody is a natural at this, right? I mean, some people are, maybe some people
the
could be.
natural ones are the extroverts, and the children, the adults who were children and their parents said, wow, you're so great, you're so smart.
Yeah.
The children who receive validation from teachers or parents are the extroverted personalities who can hold the room, who have charisma, who remember things, who, when dinners are there, they will tell you stories.
The toasters, the ones who have a speech every,
But if you are in that dinner, and you feel yourself contracted and small because you can't be as exuberant as them, you can train, you can learn that competence.
I mean, that is a great kind of a little class to have. How to be charismatic at dinners.
Be interested. Smile like you. Have this light in your eyes. Have your heart open to discover the world, because a person is a world on its own. So if you are interested, and if you make genuine compliments, and if you make the person feel seen, now that person wants to open up to you.
And I totally agree with that. You don't have to be the person who is like telling the stories. You don't have to be the one who is taking the lead and kind of being dominant. You can be the person who is actually just feeding into the energy because you are the energy.
Beautifully said. Correct.
Let's talk about things that are a little bit, serious. I guess things that could hold someone back from actually truly living a life of being able to speak publicly. For example, a lot of people suffer from anxiety. We did talk about we talked about the breathing and everything, but what if someone suffers a panic attack on stage? I know people who have been through that, and I feel like
very good.
And I feel like
we all had it. So I did my test.
Do people black out on stage?
Me,
really?
Yeah. So 2018.
Okay, wait. Disclosure. It's happened to me too. Let's be honest, okay?
We are humans.
Yeah.
We experience everything. We are meant to experience everything. So the thing with stage is like, I'm on stage. I have to be an A+ student. I have to be A+. I have to be perfect. There is this pressure that you have to be in a certain way versus then just being and doing what you have to do on stage in a natural way. So hence, you are creating the anxiety and the panic attack. You are self-inflicting. You are inflicting this on you.
Right.
You are pressurizing yourself. You are like a police officer saying, you better be good now.
Yeah.
You better perform. Watch it, because your image, your identity, your status is at stake. And you're like, so you're kind of like bullying yourself versus then be like, so the opposite. So the opposite is, what's my intention today? Have fun, have a conversation that hopefully drives some value to some of the listeners. Okay, so what do I have to do? Well, really look at the essentials of the things that I'm teaching, bring some case studies, be yourself, be in the moment, and drive value. Or on stage. So in 2018, when I gave my speech at TEDx, my first speeches, I put pressure on myself because I was the public speaking coach who was giving a TED Talk. So it was not allowed for me to, God forbid, make one mistake.
That's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
I basically took all the pressure in the world and kept it on my shoulders. And I blanked out twice. Not once, twice.
How did you manage it?
I stopped. I was aware. I blanked out. I had nothing. I just had the white wall. And I paused for 10, 12 seconds, which feels like an hour on stage. But I prepared myself and I said, if I blank out, I will do this. I will pause. And mind you, for those 18 minutes of speech, I practiced 3 months, without exaggeration, 3 months. And I had a coach who helped me write and practice the speech. And despite 3 months of practice, I still forgot twice what I wanted to say. I went blank because I put that unnecessary pressure on myself.
Right. How did you get back onto the wagon?
Because I was rehearsed for 3 months, I knew the trajectory.
Your brain backed you up.
Yes.
Right.
So practice will always back you up. And for people who want to really have the safety net of what's going to happen if you blank out, if you have your intention clear, if you know your core message and your examples and your trajectory, even if you forget for a few seconds, it will come back always. As long as you practice.
As long as you practice.
Meaning you're very intentional about that radio interview, about that podcast. You're intentional. You're putting a lot of love and care into that invitation.
Of course, because I feel like that is, you will not be able to even be interested in what you're saying if you're not, because you don't know what message you're saying, what message you're spreading. As you said, be intentional about the message.
Sometimes you're showing up to the interview or on stage because you have to, because your role, because you're an employee in the company, because you're also the CEO, but I don't really feel like it. So your disengagement, you're going to pay a high price for your previous disinterest on stage.
Yes.
And and some people, they ask me, Andreea, but how do I find some interest in something I don't like?
That's actually that's a great.
So as a presenter, I had to speak for oil and gas. I had to speak for annual gatherings in tech, things that I'm not really passionate. So I looked at the event organizer. I looked at the producer of the event. I looked at the script and I found something that I would find interesting, entertaining, and I focused on that. Because you are a good presenter if you bring love, energy, enthusiasm about something.
I love what you said, because often when, for example, people who have to talk about things that they're not very interested in, before they go on stage, before, I guess, the energy of the people that they have to, for example, interview on stage is going to, I guess, overshadow you, because they have their points that they want to speak about, right? But if you haven't prepared and you haven't actually seen what you liked about the script and what you like to talk about, then you're going to follow in each person's different kind of footsteps rather than your own. So you can't actually lead the conversation. And I'm speaking from personal experience, by the way.
If you have sometimes a difficult lifestyle and schedule, and if you don't have time to prep, let's say, for a panel, yeah, it might happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, we live in a beautifully diverse country. We live in the UAE. So many different backgrounds, cultural differences. And with that come many beautiful different accents. How do you manage people who have maybe a little bit of shame around their accents? What would you tell them?
So, yes, we have over 200 something nationalities, and we have, if we want to think of the voice of Dubai, the voice of Dubai / the UAE, of course, I think is composed immediately by this blend of of course, Arabic language accent.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the Indian, Asian, Filipino. And then you have your few Americans, Australians, Romanians, Russians, French, and so on. So there is like this big blend. Now, not too many people speaks and reveals in podcasts and interviews that there are too many people who are hiding themselves, and they don't take the opportunity to take center stage because they have a strong Emirati, Syrian, Egyptian accent, or French or Italian, or in my case, as a Romanian, I had a very strong East European accent, and you couldn't hear my message. You couldn't hear my English because my accent was at the forefront.
Right. Okay.
So there are two parts to this. There is the melting pot of the UAE, where we are so lucky that because we are all together in this big pot creating the tapestry of the UAE, our accents are really celebrated in this country.
Right.
Whereas in other parts of the world, you will be more exotic, and you will stand out, and you will be subjected to much more judgment and scrutiny.
Yeah.
But in here, ما في مشكلة.
Yeah, ما في مشكلة.
يلا تمام. Everybody's
عادي.
welcome. عادي. And that's gorgeous. Now, in my sessions, I do work with Emiratis who are telling me, but my English is not so good. And I say, no worries. Let's lead with your message. Let's lead with the fact that, so I have pilots, I have helicopter pilots, I have doctors, I have, of course, business owners who understood that communication and the way they speak is the X factor, the game changer.
Yeah.
And they say, but my English is not so good. What can I do? And I say, let's focus on the strengths and the strengths of you that you have with your English, the vocabulary that you own, and just run with that. The minute that focus changes, the person is able to lead with confidence because they are not judging themselves.
100%.
Now, with the Indian business owners, with the Indian strong accent and many other accents, you can do lots of exercises that take between 2 weeks to 3 months, and you can neutralize your accent.
Okay.
In order for you to have clarity of speech and be understood and heard by everyone. Now, my message to everybody who comes to work with me is, hey, but why do you allow the narrative of, but you're Romanian, but you're German, but you're Syrian, but you're Egyptian and you have an accent? Why do you allow that to get to you? Because I can see it. They are contracted and they are smaller because they've been told off and they've been ridiculed by because of their accent.
Yep.
But it's not their accent, it's the fact that the words are not clearly beaten and pronounced.
Okay. So,
and I have a very important message that I'm very passionate to share with everyone, which is do celebrate your unique sound. Because in your German, French, whatever you fill in the blank accent, is your roots, is your mother, is your father, is your ancestry, is your grandparents, is the place that you were born and made, is the sound of your land, is the sound of your DNA. So when you allow yourself to bring your accent to say, yes, I am from Egypt. Yes, I am from Palestine. Yes, I am from Italy. And if you have this belief and this love for your sound, yourself, everybody will also find it mesmerizing.
I agree with that 100% because I remember once somebody told me that when you go on stage, you're about to speak anywhere, it's not just you who's speaking, it's you and your ancestors who are up there on stage with you because you've come from somewhere.
We are the evolved version of the thousands of people behind us. Exactly. And we don't have to be that philosophical.
No, but I like it.
But it's part of the conversation. We have information at the cellular level. Our ancestors are in our DNA. So when the accent is strong in your sound, it means they are there.
They are there.
So do not deny your ancestors.
Embrace your ancestors.
Now, you still have to, like so when I had to be a presenter, I had a thick Romanian accent and I had to fit in the world of entertainment in the UAE in order to be a presenter and be heard and have a likable sound. So I did the necessary changes in order for me to neutralize my accent.
And you did that by yourself?
It took me 1 year with a private coach to work. I was meeting Tercia. If she hears this podcast, I'm forever grateful to Tercia, South African teacher, who helped me neutralize my accent. It was every Thursday for a year. And of course, I was having homework to do, and I had to relearn how to bite the words and keep the tongue in my mouth in order to. It was extremely hard.
The power of support, huh? Like the power of the mentor.
Support and mentors and the desire.
Wow.
To grow into whatever you envision. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to have a beautiful, harmonious voice.
Tell us an inspirational story, something that you have seen, maybe you've experienced firsthand, where there has been someone who's come to you and said, listen, I can't do this. Like, I really can't speak.
Yeah.
Or, whatever their story is. Tell us a story maybe of somebody who's transformed that has inspired you.
The story that I could share with you is the story of each and every of my students, and there are many. I've been teaching in an online program for the last 4 years, and I've had over 350, 380 students who've been in the programs. And the programs are 2 months long. I remember a PhD holder in education, Zainab Alaga, who is an activist for ADHD, children with ADHD, who told me, I'm studying and I want to create content, but I'm afraid that if I share my opinion, it's going to be somehow conflicting with that of my professors.
Okay.
And so she was very structured, very logical, and she had a very high pitch and strong voice. She was a professor while teaching. And she was recording the videos and she was recording and I said, stop the cameras. She's like, what? I cannot follow. It's not passionate. It's robotic. So I was challenging her.
Okay.
And then at a certain point she said, Andreea, but I can't give this example. I can't really share my true opinions because my teacher, ex-person, will say this is not fair. So she was judging herself. She wasn't allowing herself to share her opinions on her social media content because she was still under the PhD and the voice of the professor and what is correct. And she was having a different approach. She was having a holistic approach than the actual PhD program. And I said, look, let's do some videos that we are not going to publish.
No one's going to see it.
No one's going to see it.
Yeah.
Let's record. I'm going to stay 2 hours extra today. And then she records. And I scream, that's your voice. You just birthed your voice. And when I said that, she said, I felt it. And she starts crying.
Oh, wow.
And in that moment, because I was so attentive, a click happened in her and she chose to have that genuine perspective and to switch off the voice of the teacher in her head.
Because she felt free.
Because she felt free, because she was held in a safe space. Yes. And that's what happens with everybody who comes in the program. The people from different walks of life, from different backgrounds, of different ages come, and they have the voice of how society tells them that they're supposed to sound and be. And in the program, I invite them to say, but how would you say this? And I'm just patient.
Okay.
And then they reveal to me and to them how they would naturally speak. And I say, let's look at this video. And they like themselves.
Yeah.
And then we analyze therapy.
Yeah.
Then we analyze. I'm like, what are you afraid of? What's the illusion that makes you feel afraid to be this person? And they say, okay, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. You got me, basically. But it's also the fear of judgment.
But what I do is I reveal to themselves who they can be and that it's not necessary anymore to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And also this is amplified when we do the live events because, for example, I have a cohort of 12 to 15 people. We start on a journey of 2 months. After 60 days, by the end of the 2 months, they meet. We do like a full day, 8-9 hours of workshop speaking, fun exercises, and they deliver their speeches. So their colleagues of the 2 months, they can validate them. Yasmine, they say, you're more likable, you're funnier, you're more relaxed.
Okay.
And the validation from the colleagues and also from me instills and cements this brand new persona that emerges as a result of being in the program. And I desire that for everyone. I desire that, the world will be better if it will have more confident individuals, because confident individuals are rooted in themselves. They are far from being arrogant and they want others to be confident too. They want to help others.
I was just going to say that last part. Confident people want others to succeed because they want them on their level. They want them to, to feel what they're feeling because what the feeling is amazing. I love that. Because it's also, so when you feel confident, you think confident, right? When you think confident, you feel confident. Do you believe that, what do you think comes first? Is it the thinking or the feeling?
Is it the chicken or the egg?
Is it the chicken
Was
or
it
the
the egg
egg?
and then the chicken, or the chicken and the egg? Research, Joe Dispenza, my experience, my daily observation of my own calibrations. Because how else would you cultivate confidence? How else would you cultivate a high frequency of thoughts if you wouldn't cultivate and observe your mind? Is thought.
The thought comes first.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you hold a thought for more than 17 seconds, it then stems into an emotion. So you can change and shift your thoughts. You can observe your thoughts. So it's a thought and the emotion.
17 seconds is we're going to fight or we're not going to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Or contract yourself into, I'm not good enough, she's better than me. Or no, it's not true. Let me be. I'm good. That's 17 seconds.
Okay.
You observe it and you... So the biggest tip, breathe, shake it off. you want to be expansive. When you're expansive in your diaphragm, you're able to recalibrate.
Right.
And it's very easy to contract and to drop into a black
Yes.
hole, into a void of feeling small. But if you breathe, you can choose another thought, change your posture. Your physiology is, of course, very important. And now you're like, let's start again.
Okay.
See how I look better and taller just because I came here?
Yeah. It's the energy. The energy is the amplification energy.
Yeah. And although Tony Robbins teaches this day in and day out, I learned it before I heard it from Tony Robbins from my 10 years of modeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as an unconfident child, to be on stages when the lights are on and the music is loud and you have to walk on that ramp, you just put your shoulders back, your chin parallel to the floor, and you walk. So what happens? Your brain feels strong because of your body language, and for the rest of the day, I was feeling like the most beautiful woman alive.
Okay, so then your actions can influence your thoughts, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Both. I mean, both ways. So you're saying the thoughts come
in this case, physiology.
Physiology. So thoughts, 17 seconds, will affect your feelings. And then physiology, if you put yourself in a state of amplification, I've got this, I'm walking the ramp.
So I amplified myself as a model, but today I'm helping my clients to amplify themselves by doing the famous Amy Caddy's advice to put your hand in the superpower woman pose,
Right.
or to lift your hands, and this creates a rush of testosterone. The body creates more testosterone, and now you're feeling more like a warrior. Now you're ready to take on whatever, the conversation, the confrontation, the presentation, whatever it is that you have in front of you.
Oh, I like that. Okay, everybody put their hand.
Put your hands up in the
hands
air.
up.
Put your hands up in the air. Yeah, it helps.
Okay.
Because it activates the fighter.
Oh, this is good. These are good tips, guys. These are
But
like
also the fire breath can help.
What's a fire breath? How do we do it? Are you moving your stomach? Oh, I can't do it. It's hard.
It's hard. It's a workout. You lose
Okay.
weight. You're activating your lymph. You're activating your inner fire. It's on
Yeah.
YouTube. And you have more oxygen going through your brain. And now you're ready to handle whatever.
Wow. So what's the difference between this one and the counting the breath out?
That one relaxes you.
Relaxes. And the other one is?
And that one amplifies and increases the fire and the oxygenation in your system.
Okay. So which one should
You're
you
more
use
alert,
before going on stage?
depending what you need. If you're someone very calm and speaks slow, we need a bit. Everyone is different.
Oh.
That's the beauty.
I like that. And you're gonna decode the person before you're gonna know, right?
Yes. Plus, there is so much information that people can find already on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or they can ask me directly, and I will send them a voice note.
Andreea, thank you so much. This has been so informative. I feel like we got a crash course in everything we need to know about public speaking and how to heal ourselves in terms of confidence. This is
we are all given the gift of the pain that has been transmitted through our parents. I know this from family constellation and from my teacher Laura Gitze. And the pain, the inabilities are gifts that show us that once we take the medicine through the healing, we are free, and maybe that's our job. And we deserve, so I believe that everybody deserves, of course, to be free, emotionally free, fully expressed, feminine, masculine, strong. I would love people to have vocal variety, to have the ability to be charismatic. And we all can do that if we first go through the healing that we need to go.
And what I've learned from this podcast is that I didn't know that public speaking or communicating could be so deep and ingrained within who you are. I thought it was just a practice, but it turns out it's way much more.
It is.
Great words to end by. Thank you so much. Where can people find you, and how can they find your work, your courses?
I'm very active on Instagram. If they message me, I will be happy to answer back personally, of course. YouTube, Andreea Zoia, and Instagram mainly.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Guys, if you like this video, like, share, drop a comment so we know what you think. And we'll see you on the next one.